Welcome back to Under Review. UConn women's basketball had an emotional week as they traveled to Georgia Tech and then back to Newark, New Jersey for the Never Forget Tribute Classic. We have a lot to break down. I'm Mahn.
And I'm Mengel. Let's get into it.
Let's first get into that tough loss against Georgia Tech, the second loss of the season, first against an unranked opponent, 57-44, and there were some other startling statistics. 13% shooting from the three-point range. You only made 2 second chance points versus their 10 second chance points. What are your thoughts on this, Grant?
This is probably the ugliest UConn basketball game I've watched in my lifetime and probably over the last 20 years in general. And right now in stores, it kind of feels like the sky is falling. A lot of people are starting to panic and doubt and question Gino, but I don't think it's time for that yet. Georgia Tech is a very good defensive team, and so scoring 44 points against them when we're missing a lot of players, especially your superstar who you haven't played without, it's not the end of the world. But you see Kristen shooting 1 for 8 from 3. You see Olivia missing a wide open layup, which is really a turning point in the game. All the way into the fourth quarter, UConn was right in it, and then we scored 5 points and had that fourth quarter collapse that we've seen a few times, twice this year already, a few times in the last few years. So I'm not completely worried yet because there were a few bright spots in this game as well.
Like Amari DeBerry. Although we had very few bench players, she had to step up in that moment. I think she made 4 points, pretty impressive. Integrated herself in there, but sadly there were only 6 points scored that were not by those 4 upperclassmen. I think it was just an adaptability thing. We had only a couple days to adjust our entire offense when we based it off of a couple really key players, but just was a short amount of time. And although Gino had some concerning things to say after the game, like he didn't know whether it was going to be fixed or not, I think it was just a short time span that they had to revamp the entire team.
Definitely. Amari got her first extended period of run, and she looked pretty confident out there. A quick catch and spin with her left hand for a layup, a few free throws. So those were some really bright spots, I thought, especially not just for this year, but going forward into the future as she's going to have a role on this team. And then if we want to get into a grinded out game like this against Georgia Tech, we've got to be better in transition. We didn't really get out and run as much as we could have, and when you don't have your best players, the best way to score is to get those easy buckets, get to the free throw line, so we're going to have to try and do that going forward more.
It's also the kind of same thing as that South Carolina game. A lot of people just die out in that fourth quarter. Kind of what brought us to being this 57-44 outcome.
Yeah, when the going gets tough and the defense tightens up, you got to get to the rim. You can't rely on your three-point shooting always. We went 0 for 4 from 3 in the fourth quarter against Georgia Tech. Just get to that rim, get some free throws up, and that allows you to also get a little bit of a break and rest at the free throw line so you're not as tired because we got people playing 35, 40 minutes a game.
A lot of UConn fans love to press that panic button anytime there's a UConn loss, especially against an unranked opponent. But every one of those girls in that Georgia Tech game were capable of playing. They were just adjusting to a new playing style, and they were able to turn it around for UCLA in just one day. Specifically first, Caroline Ducharme really stepped up when she needed to. One of those bench players got the start over Aaliyah Edwards in the UCLA game. 14 points, 2 rebounds, 2 blocks, super aggressive. I just really think she provided when she needed to, and she may become a more consistent player because of it. Anyone you're thinking of?
For me, Evina Westbrook was critical in this game. It was a little bit of a rocky start early on, and she kept us in it, kept the team focused in the first quarter, finished the game with 17 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, triple-double watch, which we don't see very much, except for we've seen it from Paige a few times. So her stepping up and playing to her full potential, just being the leader of this team, bringing toughness, intensity, it was just much needed, especially after a short turnaround when the team wasn't feeling their best.
Something I was really happy to see was Dorka Juhasz with the double-double, 16 points and 16 rebounds. We've been kind of waiting to see that out of Dorka for a while, so I'm just really happy we finally saw that. It's really comforting, especially in times when we're out 4 people.
Yeah, she went into Gino's office and said she felt like she was running around, didn't know what she was doing, where she was going, and Coach Oriema just said, where do you want to go? We'll get you to that spot. And it worked. 16 points, 16 rebounds, going over 1,000 career total points to her, so congratulations for that. We needed another forward besides Olivia to step up, as we haven't seen the best out of Olivia yet. So this was a perfect time for her to just have an absolute great game.
Olivia's also just been really consistent. I've loved what she's brought this year so far. She did pretty well in the Georgia Tech game, kind of kept us in it as well in the UCLA game. So happy we have that consistent forward.
I don't have many complaints about her early on in the season. She started to step out, hit some jumpers, which is creating some space. She's still blocking shots, rebounding. Foul trouble, maybe the one thing I would criticize her on, but she's playing like a senior, playing like UConn expects her to play right now.
I think that this game just really comforted a lot of people, knowing that this team can pull it up. Everyone really stepped up in this game, and I think the chemistry is just really going to just build off of this every time.
It's such a small sample size for what we've done so far this season, only at 6-2. Everyone loves to overreact about 1 to 2 games, so there's plenty of time left in the season. Like you said, we're not pressing the panic button yet, and we've got a great opportunity coming up against Louisville this weekend. And as of now, the rankings really don't matter. It's just about getting healthy, playing our best basketball, and just figuring this out while we have to without some of our best players.
So as we all know, the UConn team is pretty shorthanded right now, and it will continue to be through this Louisville game. Coach Gino says AZ won't be back probably until after Christmas. Nika we're not sure about, and Paige may get surgery. It's just this bench is getting smaller and smaller, as well as Muir McLean entering the transfer portal. Sarah Poffenbarger did earlier this season. Just this team just keeps getting smaller by the minute.
Yeah, it's for the season that thought we were going to have with all this depth and all these players, the rotation's getting tighter. Everyone's playing 30 minutes or more, it feels like, which is really going to test their conditioning and just their overall athleticism going on in the season. But you're going to see freshmen growing up really quickly. Caroline Ducharme, she's going to have to continue to step up. It can't be 14 points one game, 2 points the next game. It's got to be consistently getting around 10 there.
What do you think this means overall for the future of recruiting? I know that we recruit such good players, but they're not going to want to sit on the bench. So will this transfer portal keep happening over the years?
With the new rules of the transfer portal, how you can play almost instantly unless you transfer mid-season, people that don't play are just going to leave. That's going to be the new way that basketball is, and Coach Auriemma is going to have to figure out how to work around that. And when you come to UConn, you're not always going to play as a freshman. Paige, AZ, Kristen, those are the exceptions. You're not always going to have these high minutes right away. A lot of times you're going to have to sit behind one of these players, learn from them, then they graduate, they move on, and then you step into the role. So Coach just has to kind of get them to understand this concept and buy into it, or he's going to have to just give in and give them minutes, which I don't really see him doing.
I think it's definitely going to change recruiting for the future, but on a side note, Aina Patterson did almost dunk the other day, a UConn recruit for next year, so gets me pretty hopeful for the upcoming team.
Yeah, you love to see it. One thing that this team could use is some more athleticism, which she will absolutely be bringing to the table.
As we know, this was quite an emotional week, and I think one moment from the weekend really summed it up as Gino Auriemma had to be pulled back by assistant coach CD after Evina got quite a tough foul, was pretty broken up about it. Gino was about to storm the court, as well as Paige Beckers jumping over the bench to join in. Thoughts on this?
This was a crazy moment. Sitting behind the bench there, seeing it all go down. I was a little surprised to see CD having to just really pull him off the court. Still got the tech, but it was a crucial moment in the game. We started slow in the fourth quarter. Once again, the worries were popping into the fans' heads. It really got the crowd into it, got the bench into it, and the players on the court, they got the message and they really got fired up from it. It was a great move by Coach Auriemma.
You really can't say that UConn isn't passionate. Gino Auriemma definitely cares, and I hope he's not storming the court anytime soon.
Yeah, he wants to win, and when his players aren't getting the calls, he's going to fight for them.
Thanks for watching this episode of Under Review. The Huskies have a little bit of time off before they take on Louisville this Sunday at Mohegan Sun. We'll be reporting from it, but until then, I'm Mahn.
And I'm Grant Mengel. Thanks for tuning in.